Locksley will begin with your opening statement.
Sure. First of all, appreciate you guys hanging in there. As we like to say, headbutt the finish, the last day. I also want to thank our SEC guys and some of the other guys that showed up without a tie. You know, going last and near the end, it gave me the ability to come in and have an open collar, which I enjoy having. It's funny because as I walked to fly here, Jordan Phillips said, "Coach, look at you, man. You looking sweet." I said, "You know what? I'm comfortable and I'm confident." And that's funny because that kind of defines the 2024 iteration of the Maryland football family. A comfortable and confident team, and not comfortable as if we think we've arrived, but comfortable in knowing who we are. I'm in year 6 here at Maryland, and to know who you are and to understand what it takes to get to where we can compete for championships, our players have embraced that. I also come to you humbly because it's funny, this is an election year, and I was just newly elected mayor of Terpsville. And so I'm excited to serve Terpsville this season. And, but when you think of Maryland and what we've navigated since I took over in 2019, we've navigated some enormous change in the college landscape. We dealt with the pandemic. We dealt with the NIL transfer portal stuff, and then we dealt with conference realignment. And I can tell you, when you have big changes like we faced in college athletics the last few years, it creates angst, it creates anxiety, it could be frustrating. But for us at Maryland, we see it as a great opportunity. When you look at how we've been able to navigate it, it starts with the 3 pillars that we kind of use it from a vision standpoint. In our alignment, it starts with our president, Darryl Pines, who came in the same year I did, Damon Evans, my athletic director. That alignment we've all had to navigate a changing world to get in the respective rooms that we're in. And I think that starts with the first pillar for us is we operate out of an expanded room now. And when you expand the room, you open up the doors for new ways of thinking, new ways of doing things. And when I think of the Big Ten now, and with the addition of the 4 new teams, we've expanded the room there as well. So it's not just a diversity thing. It's about bringing in different ideas, different ways, different regions. And with the addition of those 4 teams and the way we set ourselves up at Maryland, we've been able to navigate these things at a really high level to the point where we have consistently become a team that people know has an opportunity to win. We embrace this opportunity with expanding that room. When it brings these new ideas, it also gives us an opportunity with the second pillar for us is giving to the community. Over the last season in itself, our players have done over 700 hours of community service, and we feel like when you're being of service to your team and to your community, it makes it a lot easier to develop a winning culture because you understand here as a Maryland football player that nothing is going to be given to us. We're going to have to earn or take everything that we get. We're here now because of this, we're here to challenge status quo. When you look at the lack of divisions in the Big Ten, it's an opportunity for places like Maryland to break down that status quo that the top of our league has to be the same 3 or 4 teams. And, there was a time as a coach where I was a little scared to dream big, and I want my players to hear me talk about this. It's something to stand up here in front of you guys and tell you that we want to compete for a Big Ten championship. And by doing so, that allows you to hopefully compete for a national championship. And then you'll be ridiculed. You'll say you only won 8 games. You don't win big games. And you know what? For a long time, I used to be worried about that. And as I like to say, my give a crap gauge is on E. And I want my players to understand I want them to dream big. I want my players to embrace that we are here to compete for Big Ten championships. And we do it by being of service, not just to ourselves, which today's society kind of leads us to, but to do it by being of service to their teammates and to the community that we want to support. And then the third pillar for this vision is being player-led. I've oftentimes say that when it's a coach-led team, you're a good team, but when you're player-led, it gives you a chance to activate leadership from within. You have accountability, you have buy-in. It means a little bit more when your friend tells you that you're not living up to the standard than when your coach tells you. And I can tell you that our team has embraced those three things. All right, I know a lot of you guys are saying, what are you going to do without Leah, man? I'm still trying to figure it out myself, which is why I lost my weight and I got my comfortable and confident clothes on. Leah left a tremendous legacy in that quarterback room, and a little known fact, he and I met every day from the start of the season until our last game at 10 o'clock at night until 1 o'clock in the morning. And the work ethic and the way he approached playing quarterback, he left a legacy in that quarterback room. And now as we transition to becoming what I feel is a defensive-led team, where we have the 7 returning starters that are coming back and a handful of other guys that have played some really significant minutes. I can tell you that Leah Tungavailoa played a huge role in the foundation that we're building on to compete for championships. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about a guy that still is impacting my life, and Coach Saban, who is retiring, obviously from football, but now working on TV. He still has a significant role and still plays a significant role as a board member for the National Coalition of Minority Football Coaches, an organization I started after the pandemic. And Coach plays a huge role and continues to help guide and shape as we navigate preparing, promoting, and producing the next level of coaches. And so I wouldn't be here now as the head coach at Maryland if it wasn't for the 3 years I spent under Coach's tutelage. And I know my family and I wish him well in his retirement. Last but not least, our team. I brought 3 guys here today that I think you guys are really get to enjoy talking to, and they embody what this new iteration of the Maryland football family looks like. When you talk about a guy like Ruben Hippolyte, Ruben came back for an extra year that was granted. Here's a guy that took the vision that he saw, that I showed him a vision, and he jumped on board before it became a fruition. He was part of building us to the team that's won 3 straight bowl games, that have had 7 players drafted the last 2 years. And so with Ruben, you see a guy that had a strong belief factor. When you look at Jordan Phillips, you see a guy that has the unrelentless work ethic. There's not a guy in the country that I think will outwork Jordan Phillips, and you'll see the passion he has for the game. And then last but not least, Ty Felton, a guy that shows tremendous resiliency as a player. Ty's one of those guys that has kind of waited his turn, and now I expect him being paired and partnered with Caden Prather to become a receiving core that you guys will come to know as we move forward. Last but not least, I want to thank our supporters and all the people that have supported Maryland over the years for giving us this opportunity in this new college landscape to make an everlasting impact on the game of college football. With that, I'll open it up to questions.
Thank you, Coach. We have on your right side, first row.